All right, good morning, everybody. We're doing stretch class today. We're going to do a little bit of everything, I think. Hips, glutes, quads, hamstrings, bit of chest as well. Let's start down our mat in butterfly pose. So if you have a foam roller, place that underneath your back. Let's get started. So start down on the ground, foam roller or block underneath your thoracic spine, just beneath your shoulder blades. Knees falling out to the side, hands behind your head, elbows falling out to the side as well. We're trying to get extension through that thoracic spine. You might get a click or a crack or two. That's okay. Just focus on your breathing in through your nose, into the stomach, out through the mouth. And just slowly allowing those elbows to fall down and those knees to fall down. Of course, for some of us, they're not just going to fall down by themselves. They might need a little bit of help. So use your middle back muscles to pull the elbows down to the floor. Use your glutes to pull the knees down to the floor, with the assistance of gravity as well. Just focus on the breathing. Every time we breathe out, we try and exert a little bit more pressure and try and pull those knees and elbows down. This is pretty much the opposite of what we do all day, this stretch. Opening up the hips, opening up the chest and the shoulders. It's the opposite of sitting at our computers, sitting in front of Zoom, driving, eating, all those things that we do in a tight position all day. This is the opposite, so it's always a great way to start. Let's continue this light chest stretching by leaving our head on the floor, elbows out to the side. Let's put our elbows on the floor and then rotate our hands back. So ideally, the back of our hands are on the floor, and therefore our forearms are on the floor in kind of like a big W shape. Chest is open, shoulders back, shoulder blades slightly squeezed together. And you want to create a nice arc from one elbow up to the chest, around and over, down to the other elbow. Meanwhile, the knees are still staying out in that butterfly pose. This is what we call a passive stretch. You're not really having to do anything for this to happen. Gravity is doing the stretch for you. All right, let's improve our range of motion by just straightening out those elbows and just doing snow angels. Hands coming down to the hips. And then hands going right up above the head, staying with the forearms on the floor, just gliding the forearms along the floor. As we get to each point, the bottom and the top, your shoulder blades will want to come up. Your shoulders will want to hunch forward. Don't allow that to happen. Squeeze your shoulder blades back and down and get that stretch through the lats, through the chest, through the front of the shoulders. One more big snow angel. And that will do for that. Well, let's take our foam roller out, or our block out. We'll just come into happy baby. So let's start just grabbing the soles of our feet. Feet go up in the air. Shins are vertical, pulling the knees down towards the chest. When I first started doing happy baby, I always used to think it was about curling yourself into an egg shape, trying to get those knees in as tight as I could. That went more to the fact that I was super tight and I couldn't keep my back straight. No, the goal of this is to, in fact, keep your back straight, keep your spine nice and long, pull your knees into your chest, but at the same time, your tailbone out in front, your shoulder blades back and down. So take a big, deep breath in through your nose into your stomach, and then breathing out, tailbone out in front, shoulder blades screwing back and down. At the same time, that pulls your knees closer to chest. Breathing into the stomach. Breathing out, pulling those knees in closer to chest. One last big breath in. One last big breath out. Okay, now take a big breath in. And as we breathe out, straighten out that left leg. Breathing in, bring in the left. Breathing out, straighten the right. Breathing in the right. Breathing out the left. Try and pull your toes back towards your head. Get a little stretch through the calves. Breathing in the left. Breathing out the right. Toes back towards you. Breathing in the right. Breathing out the left. Final time. Toes back towards you. Last time. Breathing in the left. Breathing out the right. Place the heels down on the floor. Lift the hips up into a bridge. Open up those hip flexors. Let the blood flow back and just open up through the front of the body. Drive the heels down. You can lift the toes if you'd like. You could even place the block underneath you if it's close by. Mine isn't, I've just learned. Otherwise, you can just keep squeezing the glutes. Okay, let's roll onto our front. And we're going to do a chest stretch. Cactus. So, for our cactus, this is if you're able to lie down on your stomach. If you're not able to lie down on your stomach, come up into a tabletop and we will be going hands behind head and rotating. But if you are able to lie down on your stomach, we're bringing our hands into cactus. So we've got our elbows out and then our hands are 90 degrees to our elbows. So the hands pointing directly forwards. Let's tuck our left elbow in. So the hand is underneath the shoulder as though you were doing a close grip push-up. The right elbow stays out in that cactus. Let's extend the left elbow, pushing up on the left side, but keep the right elbow down. Lift the left leg up and over into a twist. And then we're stretching through that right pec, that right shoulder. As our left leg comes up and over and our left arm extends, we think about the right shoulder sinking down forward, the right elbow and into the ground still, and the right chest and shoulder stretching, stretching, stretching. Focus on your breathing. Big breath in through the nose, into the stomach, out through the mouth, and extend that left elbow just a little bit more, and the chest sinks down on the right-hand side. There's no tension on the right-hand side. You're not fighting the ground with the right. You're relaxed through the right. The right is almost weightless as the left side pushes up as high as it can. One last big breath in. One last big breath out. Let's swap it over. Tuck the right arm in for a close grip push-up. The left arm out for cactus. Breathing in here. And then as we breathe out, extend the right elbow, pushing up with the right hand, and the right leg comes up and over in a scorpion type pose. Put your left cheek down on the floor, looking to the right. And as we access that deep shoulder on the left-hand side. Left chest, left shoulder, left armpit, all completely relaxed and sunken down towards the floor. As you push with that right hand and right shoulder, try and get some height. In through the nose, into the stomach, out through the mouth, and push just that little bit more. One last big breath in. One last big breath out. Let's come back to center. This time we'll come back to cactus on both sides and just take our hands a little wider. This time what we're going to do is just a little bit wider and we're going to rotate from side to side. So keeping our right elbow where it is, extend, left leg comes over. And then breathing into center, breathing out, extend the right arm, right leg comes over the top. Breathing into center, breathing out, straighten the left. Breathing into center, breathing out, straighten the right, right leg over. Last one each side, breathing in center, breathing out, straighten the left leg over the top. Breathing into center, breathing out, right leg over the top. Let's come up into tabletop now. Let's go through our Cactus. So breathing in, chin, chest, ribs, tailbone up. Breathing out, tucking underneath, shoulder blades pushing apart, tailbone underneath, bracing those lower abs. Breathing in and lift, belly button falls to the floor. Breathing out and tuck, push yourself away from the ground, belly button lifts. Breathing in and lift. The chest, the ribs, the tailbone pushes out behind you. Breathing out, that tailbone tucks in. One last one, breathing in, cat. Breathing out for camel. Let's take a step forward with our left foot and place it alongside our left hand. Just take your right knee back just a little bit, maybe about an inch. And your right hand maybe 1 inch forward as well. Breathing in, let's lift our left hand and point to the sky. And then breathing out, reach back with the left hand and try and grab hold of that right foot. If you can't, that's okay. We can still do this stretch without the right foot in our hand. That's okay. This is just a more advanced version that I'm doing here. But if you just leave the right foot on the floor, that will still work as we just hang out in this hip flexor stretch. Now what we're going to do, we're just going to sit here for maybe about 30 seconds and just focus on just pushing that right hip flexor down towards the floor. Breathing in as your hips shift back, and then breathing out as the hips shift forward down towards that right hand once more. Even without the foot in the hand, it's still quite an intense hip flexor stretch if you apply weight. Try and brace the abs as we do this. So we're not just arching our back, particularly if you still have the right foot on the floor. You want to not brace those, you want to brace those abs and not arch your back. Just keep breathing in as the hips go back, breathing out as the hips come forward. Let's take a big deep breath in, lift the left chest, lift the left shoulder, looking back over the left shoulder and the left elbow. Strong through the right hand. Try and create that nice arc from your left shoulder right across your body to the right hip flexor down to the right knee. Nice and long. One last big breath in. One last big breath out. Let's place the right foot back down on the floor. Take the left knee back to tabletop. The right foot up. This time up alongside the right hand. Take the left knee back maybe 1 inch. The left hand forward 1 inch. Breathing in, the right hand points to the sky. Breathing out, reach back and grab that left foot if you can. And we'll do the same thing. We'll just hang out here at first. You'll probably notice a big difference between this side and where you finished on that left leg, or the right leg, sorry. Breathing in as your hips shift back ever so slightly, and then breathing out as the hips shift forward and open up through that left hip flexor, left quad. Just shift back and forward, bouncing back and forward, opening up as much as you can. When you're ready, push through that left hand, looking up and back over that right shoulder, right elbow. As our left hip sinks towards the floor, we get that twist through the spine, creating that nice arc from the right shoulder, cross to the left hip flexor, down to the left knee. Strong through the left hand. Okay, let's place our left foot down on the floor. Stepping back into plank. Let's come into our first downward dog of the day. So toes tuck underneath, hips shift back and up. As we push through the hands, spread the fingers, chest down towards the feet, chest towards the floor. It's a hamstring stretch, obviously. Calf stretch, obviously, but I want to try and open up through that thoracic spine, which we already did on our foam roller at the beginning. But let's try and get our head through the hole. You've probably heard me saying shoulder press quite a lot. That's what this is about, trying to get those hands back, extension through the upper back. Rotate the elbows and squeeze the shoulder blades together. External rotation on those elbows, strong in that position. Breathing in, forward to plank. Breathing out, knees down, open the knees, child's pose, sit back. Breathing in, forward to plank. Breathing out, pushing back, downward facing dog. Breathing in, load our knees and just come down into a crouch position. And breathing out, either jump or step to the front of the mat. Breathing in, hands high, right above our head. Breathing out, hands to half. Breathing in, hands high once more. Breathing out, hands to fold. Breathing in, straighten your knees, extend your spine, hands on the shins. Breathing out to fold. Breathing in, hands high once more. Breathing out, hands to fold. Breathing in, stepping back to plank. Breathing out, slow chaturanga push-up. Breathing in, upward facing dog. Point your toes, lift your chest, belly button falls. Breathing out, tuck your toes, pushing back, downward facing dog. Let's keep our left foot on the floor, drive our left heel down, lift our right leg and kick, single leg downward dog. Point those right toes, straighten that right knee. Nice 45-degree angle as we drive the left heel down. Breathing in, breathing out, right knee comes forward, right elbow on the outside. Knee on the floor. Breathing in, kicking back, single leg dog. Breathing out, right knee to left elbow and hold. Breathing in, kicking back, single leg dog. Drive that left heel down, stretch that left calf. Breathing out, let's open up that right hip this time. Bend the right knee, pushing through the hands. Try and get that right foot back. Right hip is open. Breathing in here. Breathing out, right knee comes forward through the middle and right foot between the two hands. Breathing in, hands high, crescent lunge. Breathing out, hands to fold. Breathing in, stepping back to plank. Breathing out, chaturanga. Breathing in, upward facing dog. Breathing out, down facing dog. Let's repeat on the right hand side. Drop the right heel down. Breathing in, left leg points to the sky, single leg dog. Straighten that left knee, point those left toes. Active in the left leg as well. Strong through the hands, strong through the shoulders and arms. Breathing in, breathing out, left knee to left elbow. Breathing in, kicking back, single leg dog. Breathing out, left knee to right elbow and hold. Breathing in, kicking back, single leg dog. Breathing out, open up that left hip. Left foot bends, extend through the left shoulder, left rib, left armpit. Breathing in here. Breathing out, left knee comes up through the middle. And then left foot between the hands. Breathing in, hands high, crescent lunge. Breathing out, hands to fold. Breathing in, stepping back to plank. Breathing out, chaturanga. Breathing in, upward facing. Breathing out, downward facing. Let's load our knees, jump or step to the front of the mat. Heel toe, our feet together. Breathing in, hands high above the head. Breathing out, hands still above our head, sitting down, chair pose. Heels. Arms. Hands together, right elbow on the outside of the left knee, rotating to the left. Breathing in, left hand points to the sky. Breathing out, left hand comes behind our back, pulling our left shoulder back. Just a couple of breaths here. Rotate that left shoulder, that left elbow comes around. Drive the right elbow down into the knee to get leverage. Breathing in, hands high, chair pose. Breathing out, hands together, rotate to the right hand side, elbow on the outside of the right knee. Breathing in, right hand points to the sky. Breathing out, right hand comes behind the back and binds. Left elbow drives down into the right knee for leverage as we pull that right shoulder open. Looking up over the right shoulder and the right elbow. Breathing in, hands high, chair pose. Breathing out, hands to fold. Breathing halfway, straighten your spine and your knees. Breathing out, fold. Breathing in, hands high, overhead. Breathing out, swan dive. Breathing in, stepping back to plank. Breathing out, chaturanga. Breathing in, upward facing. Breathing out, downward facing. Let's take a left foot and step it forward this time. Breathing in, hands high, crescent lunge. Breathing out, rotate that right foot 90 degrees, so it now faces the right. Sinking down into warrior two pose. Our left foot intersects the middle of our right foot. So you can just adjust your feet if you need to. You can see I've got my weight evenly distributed across both legs. My left shin is vertical, and my left knee is rotated out externally to the left. Chest is up, like I'm a puppet being pulled up by two strings on my shoulders. Breathing in here. Breathing out, left elbow down onto the left thigh, right arm points to the sky, and then right arm points directly out in front to the front of the mat. Try and get your right fingers as far away from your right ankle as possible. Focus on your breathing here. Breathing in, warrior two. Now keeping bend in that left knee, breathing out, reverse the warrior. So right hand comes down the back of the right leg, left arm comes up over the head, getting stretched through that left rib, left armpit. Breathing in, warrior two. Breathing out, left hand comes down the inside of the left shin, right hand points to the sky, triangle pose. Breathing in here. Breathing out, and if you can, lock out that left knee, hamstring, for the full triangle pose, or Trikonasana is the correct name. You can grab hold of the floor, your ankle, your shin, whatever works for you. If you're getting a cramp in your left calf like I am, you can take some pressure off and then put it back on. Looking up at that right hand, keep your hips underneath you. Don't allow your hips to fall out to the left side of the mat. Looking up at that right hand as we get stretched through that left hamstring, the hips, the glutes. The right leg is still straight as well, I might add. Breathing in, warrior two. Breathing out, let's cartwheel down to the front of the mat. Breathing in, stepping back to plank. Breathing out, chaturanga push-up. Breathing in, upward facing. Breathing out, downward facing. Let's take our right knee forward and step between our two feet, or two hands rather. Breathing in, hands high, crescent lunge. Breathing out, rotate the left foot, sinking down, warrior two. Remember, our right heel intersects the middle of our left foot. If you need to adjust your foot, do that. The right knee rotates out to the right. So it is square, the hips are tucked in underneath. Our shoulders are up and back, like two puppet strings pulling us upright. My weight is 50-50 on both legs. However, you probably will start to feel that right leg burn faster than your left leg at this point. Breathing in here. Breathing out, right elbow down to the right thigh, left arm over the top, points to the front of the mat, side angle stretch. Opening up through those left ribs. Try and get your left hip up slightly. Try and get your left fingers as far away from your left ankle as you possibly can. Breathing in, warrior two. Keep bending that right knee. Breathing out, reverse the warrior. So you notice my legs don't move. It's just my right arm which comes up. And I get stretched through that right arm. Breathing in, warrior two. Breathing out, triangle pose. Hand down the inside of the right shin. Left hand points to the sky. You can brace your right elbow and forearm against the right shin. For leverage, you can grab hold of the foot, the ankle, the shin, the floor, depending on your flexibility. Breathing in here. And if you can, breathing out, lock out that right knee as well. Tuck the pelvis in underneath. Don't allow the butt to hang out to the right side of the mat. Keep the butt in underneath you. As we look up at that left hand, one last big breath in. One last big breath out. Breathing in, warrior two. Breathing out, cartwheel down to the front of the mat. Breathing in, stepping back to plank. Breathing out, chaturanga, slow push up. Breathing in, upward facing dog. Breathing out, pushing back, downward facing dog. Let's rock forward onto our knees. And just sinking back into a child's pose. Just take a little break. We've done some arm stuff quite a bit recently, so let's just give them a tiny break. Let's place our left hand. Let's come up onto our, sinking back with our butt onto our heels and put our left hand behind our left foot. Our right hand just comes up in front of our face on the right-hand side. Breathing in here, and then breathing out, lift the hips, push them to the sky. The right arm comes up over the top as we open up through that front body. Not so much for a pregnant person. You might want to just sit on your heels and stretch your quads. Maybe a little bit of hip flexor, but certainly not to the extent that I'm stretching at the stomach here as well. Breathing in, the right hand comes down behind the right foot. Breathing out, the left hand comes up and over. Open up through that left hip, that left stomach, that left armpit as we push through that strong right hand. Breathing in, left hand comes down, behind. Breathing out, right hand comes up and over. Push through the glutes. As one muscle stretches, another one works to make that happen, remember? The glutes are working hard to enforce the stretch at the front of the hip. Breathing in, the right hand comes back behind us. Breathing out, the left hip comes forward, left arm comes up and over. Let's pick up the pace. Breathing in, left hand behind. Breathing out, right up and over. Breathing in, right behind. Breathing out, left up and over. Last one, breathing in, left behind. Breathing out, right up and over. Breathing in, right behind. Breathing out, left up and over. Breathing in, hands forward, toes tuck underneath into plank. Breathing out, chaturanga. Breathing in, upward facing. Breathing out, downward facing. Let's load our knees. Jump or step to the front of the mat. Heel toe our feet together. Breathing in, hands high above the head. Breathing out, hands high. Breathing in, hands high once more. Breathing out, hands to fold. Breathing halfway with the shins and the spine. Breathing out to fold. Breathing in, hands high once more. Let's lift our left foot and place it on top of our right thigh. Hands coming down to half, standing lotus pose. Let's open up those hips a little bit. If you're able to balance in this position, or if this is a struggle for you, stay where we are. But if you're able to sink down now into a squat, open up that left hip. Let's do so. More balance on that. Earlier, I talked about passive stretching. This is what we call an active stretch, where yes, my left hip is getting a bit of stretch here because of my right leg. My right leg is really working to make that happen. I think yours are too. Keep shifting that right hip backwards, sinking down deeper into the squat if we can. Let's hold for 3, 2, 1. Breathing in, hands high as we drop the left foot. Breathing out, hands to fold. Breathing in halfway, straighten both legs and the spine. Breathing out, fold. Breathing in, hands up all the way above our head. And breathing out, the hands come together in prayer. Our right foot comes up on top of our left thigh, sinking down into lotus pose. You can start with the standing if you'd like, or you can just go straight down into that squat, keeping your chest up, rotating that right knee out to the right, and sinking your left hip back into a deep squat as you can. Keeping your left knee straight. And as you sink deeper and deeper, that right knee will naturally externally rotate even more, which is a precursor for the pigeon we're about to finish with. Focus on your breathing, maybe find a spot directly in front of you to look at. I've got a blade of grass that I'm quite keen on. Breathing for 3 more. Every time you breathe out, try to sink deeper. Breathing in, hands high as our right foot comes to the floor. Breathing out to fold. Breathing in halfway. Breathing out to fold. Breathing in, hands all the way. Breathing out, swan dive. Breathing in, stepping back to plank. Breathing out, chaturanga. In, upward facing. Breathing out, downward facing. Let's lift our left leg in the air, nice and high, single leg dog. Point those left toes. Breathing out as our left knee comes forward. Our foot rotates underneath and our left foot comes behind our right hand. You can use the right hand to drag it upwards. Take the right knee underneath you. Make sure it doesn't come off the right side of the mat. And we're just in our upward pigeon to begin with, or upright pigeon. Just sinking those hips back towards the back of the mat, keeping your chest up. You can just slowly start to walk your right foot back, but at the same time, keeping it directly behind your hips. Don't allow it to shift off to the right-hand side. Keep it where it is. When you are ready, come down onto your elbows. And we're going to hold here for another 90 seconds. We've done 30 already. We're just going to hang out here for 90 seconds. During that 90 seconds, just focus on your breathing into the stomach, out through the mouth. And the right foot ever so slowly just walking backwards, getting a little bit more stretch at the back of that left hip. Focus on wherever the tight point is for you. For some of you, it'll obviously be the left glute, the femur. Might be the front of that left. Might be the effects on the right leg. But for most of you, left glute. Last big breath in. Last big breath out. Breathing in, coming back up onto our hands, stepping back into plank. Breathing in, left foot on the ground, right leg in the air, single leg downward dog. Drive that left heel down and feel the blood rush back into that left leg after being compressed. Breathing in here, breathing out, right hip comes forward, and the right foot comes behind the left hand. You can use your left hand to drag it up there. How horizontal do you get your right shin? Well, in a perfect world, it would be perfectly horizontal. But we don't live in a perfect world. Not everyone is super flexible. I am most definitely not. And I notice a big difference from my left side to my right. Try and get your shin as horizontal as you can without any pain in the knee and the hip. And there's a difference between stretching pain and, ligament pain, where your ligaments are saying, no, we don't stretch that way. They're going to be your last line of defense. Your muscles stretch, then your tendons, which don't like stretching, stretch, and then finally your ligaments stretch, which they really do not like stretching. So if your muscles aren't stretching far enough and your ligaments are saying, hey, stop doing this, stop doing this. When you're ready, come down onto your elbows. And we'll sit here for another 90 seconds. Just focus on your breathing, less talking from me, which is probably a welcome sign for a lot of you. We're almost finished today's practice, so let's just focus on winding down, breathing in through our nose, into our stomach, and out through the mouth, and wherever that sore point is, under the back of that right hip is probably going to be your best bet. Last big breath in. Last big breath out. Let's place our hands underneath our shoulders. Stepping back into plank, right leg on the ground, left leg in the air, single leg dog. Open up that right leg one more time. Breathing in here. Breathing out, left foot down into plank. Breathing in, low knees. Breathing out, jump a step onto the mat, heel toes together. Breathing in, hands high above our head. Breathing out, hands to half. Breathing in, hands high once more. Breathing out to fold. Breathing in halfway. Breathing out to fold. Breathing in, hands high for the final time today. Breathing out, hands swan dive to the floor. Breathing in, stepping back, plank. Breathing out, chaturanga. Breathing in, upward facing. And breathing out, downward facing. Let's rock forward, our knees to the floor. Open those knees. Toes point out behind us. Child's pose to finish. That will do for today. There was a little bit of everything for everyone in there. Would that get you the release that you're after for Tuesday morning? Thank you, everybody.